I didn't. What Madera's turned into. It's just tremendous. And this room does have really good acoustics, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully good. Hey, you know, where's Joe at? Joe wanted to know if I had any new material for you. Yes, I do. But you never wrote the check for the aging joke from 3 years ago. The banana, remember? Yeah, I'm waiting. So, were any of you in attendance 2 nights ago when I gave the State of the City address? Raise a hand, Sue, staff, thank you very much. All right, so, I'm reminded of there's a yuppie young man pulled up into this field and dust slides out. He opens the door and there's a sheep herder with a bunch of sheep, and he gets out, he's got a Bernoni suit, he's got a Gucci on, he's got the YSL tie, he's got the sunglasses, I mean the whole get up, and he gets out and the dust settles down and he looks around, he goes up to the sheep owner, the sheep herder, and said, hey, listen, if I can tell you exactly to the number how many sheep you have, can I have one? And the sheep herder looks around, this is a big pasture, he goes, sure, no problem. So the guy goes back to his chair at Grand Cherokee, pulls out his little notebook, hooks up to one of these GPSs, hooked to a satellite. He started doing his Excel, prints about 150 pages. He looks at it, he walks over and he goes, you have 1,585 sheep. And the sheep herder says, you're right. And so he goes, the deal, you can have one of my sheep. He goes over, he bundles it up into the Cherokee, and then the sheep herder looks at him and says, tell you what, if I can tell you what your profession is, can I have my sheep back? I said, sure, that's fair enough. The other deal worked out fine. He said, well, you know what? You're a consultant. And he goes, yeah, you're right. How did you know how to consult? And he said, well, you showed up here and no one asked for you. You want to be paid for an answer I already knew the answer to. And you know what? You really don't know my business because you took my dog. So, how many consultants in the room? Oh, come on, I know there's a couple. But you know, when I thought about that, I'm thinking, wow, I showed up with something that you already knew the answer to. It's pretty hard to give a State of the City address, you know, within 24 hours. Plus, I just read yesterday in the UT and some other places. I mean, what's the Times Advocate? North Carolina Times, getting old. And so I'll try to share a little different twist on what we've done. You know, I'm also reminded of a preacher. Any preachers in here? Well, we're all no kidding. Yeah, we got to talk about it. Who wants to limit Jim's preaching at City? There's this preacher, and this preacher, not like Jim, he loves to play golf. I mean, with a passion. He's out at the driving range every time he can get. And one Sunday he wakes up, and this is like today. It's a beautiful day, not a cloud in the sky, no wind, a perfect day for golf. And so he has a real dilemma, and it finally gets the best of him, so he calls his assistant and says, hey, look, I'm sick. I can't do the service today. Can you cover for me? He bundles into his car and drives 3 hours to this great golf course where nobody can see him. Nobody. He knows I'm safe here. And as he's driving there, the angel up in heaven turns to God. He goes, look, do you see what this guy's doing? He should be tending to his folks at the church. He's out playing golf. You need to punish this guy. And God looks and he affirms and shakes his head. He gets the golf course, he tees off, and he drives the ball 275 yards on the line. It bounces twice and goes into the cup for a hole in one. And the angel looks at God and goes, oh, what's the deal? I thought you were going to punish him. And God turns and says with a smile, who can he tell? Well, you know what? I can tell you today a lot of good things about the city. And I did on Tuesday night. Let me just real quickly, before we move to more economic development and business issues. In 2010, as you recall, when I stood up here last year, we were facing two things. a potential recall election, which is unusual, not unusual, just unfathomable for the city. And then we knew 5 months later that there would be a general election. So within 5 months, 2 elections, we thought that was going to be interesting. And we had an economy that we all know about, and the issue that confronted. But notwithstanding that, we buckled down. On the budget, I applaud our staff. They have done a tremendous job the last 2 or 3 years in trying to make sure that we always have a balanced budget, have looked at expenses. Our revenues come from 2 main sources, as you know, mainly property taxes and sales tax. Our sales tax is up just slightly, a little more than our conservative estimate, which helps. Last Friday at Sandy, we have a great economist, Marty Cox. If you know Marty, he has been there for 18 years, and everything he hit for the last 18 years has been right on. But he did, they give us an update at the end of the meeting once a month, and his projections on sales tax that affect you retail folks is that it will not go back to pre-recession numbers until the fourth quarter of 2015. So it goes quick. That's only 3.5 years. But it will continue to increase a little, but it's going to probably look at San Diego region until about the fourth quarter of 2015 to get back to what we were experiencing pre-recession. I digress, but I just want to throw that out. I did that because I saw Todd. The other night, Todd, we had a great little meeting with John Collins, and he showed us your budget, your numbers you probably saw the last couple of days, and not real nifty in 24 and 36 months. We're going to do all we can to at least be partners with you. This budget is real tough, but we appreciate our staff of what they've done, and we haven't had any real visual effect where you've seen cut in service. So we appreciate them beyond measure, and the residents do too. We were able to, we're the captain. Captain, stand up, just for a second. Thank you. Our crime rate has not only always been one of the lowest as the contract cities in the county, but it even dipped further, the lowest in the 30 years I'm aware of, 12.36 crimes per thousand. They do a tremendous job, and so do our residents. They do a great job working with them together. So that was a great deal. Tuesday night, I spent an inordinate amount of time, but I thought it was important to thank our volunteers. Sue came up to me afterwards and complimented me on a process that we use to really thank our volunteers. And there's many volunteers in the chamber too that are members that do things that people don't see. And we just have a great civic engagement here in this city. We were able to divest ourselves of Poway Royal Mobile Park. The city, to be honest with you, does not like to be a landlord. We got into the landlord business many years ago, just prior to 1990, when we acquired a couple parks in the city. Now, I'm not talking about the pure idea of doing certain things in partnership for affordable housing, but outright landlord. So we finally, after 20 plus years, divested ourselves of the 3 parks that we bought. And so that was good for a lot of reasons, but also we were able to put some money into, again, helping our budget. And we also dedicated our Veterans Park, one of the neatest ceremonies I've witnessed in the city over the years. A lot of people worked on that. Jim Cunningham, through his hard work and effort, was a ringleader in getting that done. It was a great addition to Old Poway Park. Not just the Old Poway Park, but in the city. It's a beautiful result to the city. And so we were able to accomplish quite a bit. This year, we're going to do a few things. One is in your business. I know the business I talk to, in my business, we have about 4,500 retail storefronts. So I go around the country about probably 8 times a year, meet with groups about this size, about 100, 120 franchisees and retailers, and we talk about a lot of issues and what they're confronting with local store marketing and our national advertising, which they usually beat us up for an hour and a half because no one can agree on what should be on TV, but that's okay. At least you're on TV, you're doing something, you're trying to build the brand. It doesn't drive customer count, but it does create a brand. And so we do that, and it's amazing as you talk to these folks to watch what they have had to do to stay in business. And most of our folks, because of the model that we have, they just address it through labor. Labor is the biggest cost for a small retailer. Many of them have laid off their part-time